Wow. It's really bad. And you know it's going to be a hot, muggy day. When you wake up at 5:30 in the morning and you could smell the heat. It's going to be a hot day. So for the longest time here in Canada, we have been saying we need to get more vaccines into arms faster and faster and faster. And we've done not a bad job getting the first dose in now to people. We're in some communities, about 65% of the population got their first dose now. Where we fall behind is the second dose. We still have only 5% of the country has had a second dose. Vaccine supply for the certain types, like we're getting Pfizer vaccines in, but Moderna's been sketchy, AstraZeneca's been on and off the market. And you know what government doesn't like? Government doesn't like thinking outside the box. So what do I mean by that? Well, we have, Canada, United States has like the longest border almost in the world, if not in the world, with the United States. That's like, we can walk across to each other. There's a little tiny river separating us in many, many places. Like Windsor, Canada and Detroit, Michigan. You can literally drive a golf ball from one country to the other. That's how close it is. There's a bridge going across, there's a tunnel going across. In fact, in Windsor, over 1,500 healthcare workers work in Detroit on a daily basis. It's part of the international agreement that we have that they can cross over to work in the other country because Detroit needed the healthcare workers, and they especially needed it during the pandemic. This has been going on for a long, long time. Very harmonious, working together. This is what Canada, United States likes to do. We want to work together. We're neighbors. We're our biggest trading partners. We are friends. We vacation there, you vacation here. Families live there, families live here. We travel back and forth all the time, right? And the mayor said he's been finding out from his healthcare workers that, in Michigan, they're having a hard time getting people to get their vaccine. The population, I believe, is still only 42% vaccinated in Michigan. They're throwing vaccines out on a daily basis. In fact, there's one report that just the other day, over 35,000 doses of the vaccine expired, and they ended up thrown out and disposed of. Meanwhile, here in Canada, we have about 90% of our population ready to get the vaccine. There's far less hesitancy here in Canada. They want the vaccine. So Detroit mayor said, well, you know what? You don't want us to travel to the United States to get a dose, even though they said in New York that they'll do it for us, and Michigan said they'll do it for us, Seattle says they'll do it for us, in Washington. So, but you don't want us traveling. You say it's dangerous to travel. There's COVID everywhere. There's the variants out there, we don't want to do that. So the Detroit mayor came up and he has an idea. He says, well, we have this tunnel that goes between Detroit and Windsor. And why don't we just close the tunnel? Because we can still use the bridge for trucking and everything to go across. That's not a problem. And we'll, right at the border, we'll put a line down the center. And then we can line up Canadians on one side, and we can line up doctors and pharmacists on the other. And they could each stand on the same side of the border. And the only thing that goes across is the jab in the arm. And that way, Michigan would have arms to put their vaccines in so they're not throwing them out and wasting them, as well as Canadians would get their second doses faster, especially in the city of Windsor area, and it would help ease the strain on the vaccine rollout here in Canada. He said, we can do it on the tunnel. Heck, there's a river out there. We could put a barge out in the river and transport people back and forth to the barge and then back to land if that's what they want us to do it. We're not trying to create an international incident here. We're just trying to get people their vaccine as fast as possible. So we can end this pandemic on both sides. We can open up the borders and people can see their families again. We can start to travel back and forth again. We can just drive across and say hi. And not only that, we can protect the country by getting the second dose faster. And when they propose this to the procurement minister and the federal health minister, they say, well, here, let me show you what the mayor says.
Everyone's feet would be on the right side of the line, but somewhere in the middle of that line, a syringe would hit an arm. And in that syringe would be a COVID vaccine, making someone fully vaccinated in probably about 5 seconds. And this is being driven by 1,200 people from my community who live here, who cross the border to work in healthcare in Detroit each and every day. And they're calling me, they're calling the head of our hospital, and they're saying, we are throwing doses in the garbage. They are expiring, and there are no arms to put them in. You've got to do something. And so reported yesterday in Detroit, 35,000 doses hit the landfill last month alone. It's liquid gold to us and it's trash to them because they can't find the arms to put them in before they're expiring. And that city where they're going in the garbage is 2 kilometers away from me. And so I know that there are people who are patiently waiting here for the second dose. They've been waiting for months. I know that there are thousands of families hoping to reunite on either side of the border. And it's one of those unique things in my community because of our geography. We've got deep connections on either side of the border. And I know that there are businesses desperate to reopen and get back into business. And I'm echoing all of their voices saying we have to do something. We can do better than what we're doing today. And then let me just say, why would we not want to do better? If there's a pathway to better the situation and improve the vaccination efforts here, let's work on this together. This is a shared goal we all have.
Well, what's the answer to that? I mean, you spoke with Health Minister Patty Hajdu this afternoon. Is she on board with this idea, or did she say no?
I have very little hope that anything will change after my meeting with the minister.
Why is that? What did she say to you?
Well, there were certainly a lot of the same talking points about over 20 million doses in Canada and more doses arriving. And if we're all just patient, in a few months from now, we'll all have being fully vaccinated.
So, yeah, once again, the government doesn't want to be embarrassed. The government doesn't want, oh, wait, you know what? If we have to rely on the United States for our vaccines, it looks like we're failed. You already failed. You already failed, Canada. We're 5 months into this, and we still only have 5% of our population with vaccine doses. You're saying you're going to move up the second doses. From what I see, it's like 7 days from when I'm supposed to get it. We've already extended the vaccine timeline from the recommended 3 weeks to 16 weeks because you've already failed. What you're failing to do now is protect fellow Canadians. You're failing to protect our country because you don't want to. You're playing politics now. You're playing media politics. You're playing optics. You don't want to appear like, oh, well, we couldn't get it done in time. But you're very happy when the President of the United States says, yeah, we're going to be sending out about 50 million doses to COVAX. And yes, we're going to send vaccines to Canada. Well, you're very happy to take them into Canada, given to you freely from the United States. But when someone comes up to an idea that's simple and very easy to do, and like it would take less than a couple days to get that organized, the tunnel, Detroit, the tunnel, and the province of Ontario and the Windsor, like already have this saying, yeah, we can get this done really quickly. It's the federal government that said, no, you know what, we're getting vaccines and we don't, it's a very complicated situation. It's not complicated. You don't want to appear that you failed. And by saying that this, don't even try to do that, guys. Don't even try. You're already failing the country. And that is some of the most disappointing and, quite frankly, disgusting behavior for a politician to take optics and what it's going to look like and my future as a delegate and my future as a procurement minister or a health minister or a prime minister, if it looks like I needed help. Hey, guess what, guys? We all need help at some point. And there's no shame in asking for it if somebody has it extra to give to you. And when somebody comes up with an idea that helps your country, don't just dismiss it out of hand because it might make you look a little like you're a little slow on the handle. Because you have been slow on the handle and you're not fooling anybody. So yeah, to me that's absolutely disgusting behavior to just say out of hand, we're not going to protect Canadians that way. We're only going to protect Canadians when we say we're going to protect Canadians.